guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna have an exciting video for you guys. I'm pretty excited about this one. I know that there was a bit of a mixed review, but today we're gonna be reviewing the new Patrick Ta bronzer. I only got one shade. I am not in the market to just, splurge on a ton of bronzers. I have a lot of bronzers, but I did want to pick up one of these bronzers. I think it's a fun launch. I have one of their blushes and I love the blush. So I figure if the bronzer is even a smidgen the same, then I'm probably gonna like the bronzer as well. So part of the Pat McGrath experience is of course looking at the packaging. It kind of looks like a coin. I love the unicorn of this, and then you open it up and you get the very familiar Pat McGrath packaging, the black with the button that you can open, and then you get this really beautiful embossing. Pat McGrath kills it with the embossing every single time. The shade that I decided to go with is Nude Honey, which is described as a neutral bronze. This should be a micro velvet powder, blurring and perfecting and buildable. It's a demi matte finish. Nude Honey should pair well with Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation, a light 5 to light medium 10. I don't have, and I've never tried this foundation, but I think I'm about a light medium 9, and I was hoping for this one to be maybe a little bit more like a bronzer, so a kind of more like a contour mix. I know that some of you guys want to see the details, so check out the ingredient list. It has an 18-month shelf life. It's made in Italy, and it does contain talc for those of you that want to know. It retails for 37 euros, but I had 10% off, so I think I paid about like 35 euros for it, which I think is a decent price for a bronzer. I definitely would recommend you to wait for a sale because all of these items always go on sale. Even though I think it's reasonably priced, I do think that it's still 35 or 37 euros, and that is still pricey. You can do a lot with that type of money. 8 bronzers have launched and only one of them has a pearl finish. I would have wanted to try a pearl finish. I probably would have gotten 2 bronzers, and one being the demi matte finish and the other one being the pearl, just to try them out. But the pearl finish is not nearly close to what's necessary for my skin tone. But if you're a bit deeper, you can check out Desert Glow, which is a tan bronze with sparkling golden pearl. I just really want to put this on my face, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in, and then we're just gonna see the color on my skin. The brush that I want to use is this REPHR 37 brush. I like this brush a lot, and I probably would recommend it if you're looking at the REPHR sale. Check this one out for a bit more like tougher bronzers, for example. It is a little bit harder to pick up, so you can build it up and build it up and build it up again. And I actually used this bronzer yesterday, so this is not a first impression. But let's just show you guys the bronzer. Now, that what you see there is not the bronzer, that is my hyperpigmentation. I don't have that many foundations in my repertoire that actually cover everything fully. Medium coverage is kind of like what I'm wearing right now. So I do suffer from hyperpigmentation, so that's not blotchiness. I'll put the bronzer on my forehead so you can actually see what it looks like without the hyperpigmentation. And I'm gonna put a little bit on the nose. I'm gonna use my REPHR 32 brush for my nose contour. And this is one side of the bronzer. All done. So this is the bronze section, my forehead on one side. I have a combination of natural light and studio lighting. Let me do the other side. Didn't get the new blush that they also came out with, so I'm gonna go in with this blush. This is Nude Venus 2, and they just recently launched Nude Venus 3. And Nude Venus 2 has a little bit of a sheen, so instead of using a highlight, I like using this blush and get that natural inner glow going. Beautiful. Okay, So this is the final look. Let me zoom you guys out and let me tell you a little bit about my final thoughts and some comparison swatches. Okay, first of all, I think the bronzer is absolutely beautiful. I'm happy with the color that I chose. It's a little bit more warm than I expected. I don't know what you guys feel about this, but it is neutral enough to do your nose contour with it. And that's something that I was kind of looking for. I was looking for a bronzer that's not too warm, so I can kind of use it for both kind of contouring and bronzing. I think the face looks beautiful. I love how buildable it was. It was very blendable, and it is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of the Pat McGrath blushes. So for those of you that like the blushes, I think that you'll like this formulation as well. Unfortunately, most of them are demi-matte. Like I said, the only thing that I'm missing in my shade range is to try one of the pearl finishes. So I hope that Pat McGrath comes out with more bronzers in the future, because I would potentially be interested in getting another one, maybe in the pearl finish. Overall, I think it looks very stunning. I like the Pat McGrath experience, and if you're into this brand and into that type of experience, or you just want to try it out, I actually think that it is worth the money if you don't have any other bronzers especially. I have a few other bronzers in my collection that I'm going to compare swatch for you guys, because if you have a few bronzers, I'm not sure if you like necessarily need this. I think I thought I needed this because I hoped it'd be more cool toned than the bronzers that I have, but actually compared to some of the bronzers that I already have in my collection, it is quite similar. Most notably, it's very similar to my Victoria Beckham Beauty bronzer. I have my bronzing break in the shade 02. And if you see, I did 3 swatches. I did like the lighter side, the darker side, and a mix swatch. And I do feel the undertone is very similar to the Nude Honey bronzer. Both of them are quite neutral, especially the lighter shade in the pan of the Victoria Beckham Beauty one. Very, very similar. And if you mix them, then you get a very, very similar shade, in my opinion. I also compared it to my Westman Atelier Coupe de Soleil bronzer. This is the lightest shade I believe Westman Atelier has. Westman Atelier, I expected a little bit more warm. The Westman Atelier bronzer has a lot of orange. I feel like this is one of my more bronzy bronzers, warm tone bronzers. It pulls a little bit more red or orange, if you know what I mean. But in the swatch, I actually thought it looked quite similar. Then of course I wanted to compare it to this Big Daddy by Chanel. This is the oversized low powder. I have mine in the shade medium. Again, a little bit more warm. The Pat McGrath Nude Honey is a little bit more neutral toned, but it wasn't too far off. Lastly, I did compare it to a bronzer that is not part of many of you guys' collections, but I wanted to include it anyway, and that is this one by Le Bouge Rouge. This is the lightest bronzer. This is the bronzer shade Blonde, and this one is fairly more, again, warm. I usually call this more yellow tone, so this is my more yellow tone bronzer, and it kind of stands out from all of them compared to the rest. So those were my comparisons. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I wanted to do just a quick video. Personally, I think the bronzer is worth the money if you like the Pat McGrath experience. There's nothing wrong with this bronzer, and if you're in the market for a new bronzer, actually wait for a sale. I don't care if it's the Sephora sale or the Pat McGrath sale. I think the Pat McGrath sale is probably a better option for you guys, but I would recommend it. It has my stamp of approval. It's a fun bronzer to have in your collection, and I think I look good. Let me know in the comment section down below, would you pick up this bronzer? Did you pick up this bronzer or any of the other shades? Any shades that you can recommend maybe? Let me know. Anyway guys, thank you guys all so much for watching, and subscribe to my channel if you liked anything about this video. Like this video if you liked anything about this video, so the algorithm knows to pick this video up and introduce it to other people. Comment down below if you want to nerd out about makeup, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!